Up next on Inside ChampCar, a big hit at Atlanta Motorsports Park. Welcome to Inside ChampCar. Brian Bielanski, Bill Strong's the guy above me, and the guy over there, Andrew Sides. First of two podcasts this week, Bill, that I'm doing with a guy who had a big shunt.
Well, you know, it kind of sucks.
It does.
It's shows you don't really want to do ever.
Yeah, but it's really good to be able to do a podcast with a guy who had a big shunt.
Yeah.
Because if you can't do the podcast with the guy who had a big shunt, that's a bad thing. So
yeah, it's a
thing.
It's a thing. I really don't want to know what to say right now, but yes, Andrew Sides, ChampCar Tech, and also longtime worker with ChampCar, also races with Running Bulls and Running Bulls Racing, BMW E30, 1980s car. Is it 80, 88, 89?
And we classified it as a 88.
88.
Okay.
So, yeah. So it's really a 2000. No, I'm kidding. An 88 BMW, and the 80s not exactly known for having the best design crash tested cars, unless it's a Volvo, right? And you got to test one out this past weekend, or a couple weekends ago, unfortunately. Now, we're not going to get into the reasons or whatever, but let's just start off with, hey, I'm in the grass, and I'm doing well over 110 miles an hour. And what do you do? What's going through your head in the grass?
Well, before that, what are you sliding towards?
Oh, yeah.
I was trying to keep the wheel as straight as possible to keep it off the Armco, and hoped and prayed that I could slow the car down enough without doing that. And
wait, you're going down the front straightaway.
Yep.
Which ends, it goes downhill and has an extreme left hairpin.
Right.
So, and then at the end of that is a big sand trap. It's a little scary the first time you take it. It's like, wow, because the track drops away.
Yeah, you have no clue where the turn in actually is. So,
and you just basically brake at the at or around the start finish line.
Yep.
And hope for the best.
Yep. Except for when you're in the grass.
Yeah. So you're in the grass.
In the grass, trying to keep the wheel straight, have my foot on the brake probably as hard as I could, and was able to keep the car straight, and then realized that I wasn't stopping and just held the brake and tried to give it a left input as soon as I could to try to reduce the angle, or increase the angle, I guess.
Right.
And
you saw cars turning in that. You saw cars ahead of you.
Yes, saw cars ahead of me. Saw the opening between the car that was in front of the car that I hit, and the car that I hit, and was like, "Oh, there's an opening," and then there wasn't.
Yeah.
Now, we had spoke a bit ago, and you said you kind of saw that opening and you kind of aimed for it.
Yep.
Tried to make that aim, but there's a transition from grass back onto the tarmac, and that killed a lot of speed on your car. I mean, it slowed down the car a lot, but then it also caused it to kind of get a little airborne right there.
Yeah.
And it's hard to stop when you're in the air.
Yeah, the brakes don't work when they're not when the wheels aren't on the ground.
No.
I mean, I'm Polish, so maybe I've got the engineering and the physics wrong with that. But the best of my knowledge, when the wheels aren't on the ground, the brakes are ineffective, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So now, we watch crash videos from years. I remember Danik, I think it might have been Danik, whatever. She popularized the take your hands off the wheel, crisscross your arms on your belts when you crash. Did you even think about anything like that, or were you just focused on not?
I was focused on the opening. I really was. Like, looking back, I don't know how much it would have made a difference, like doing that. I mean, it probably would have caused me to go straighter into the car. So I think me holding on as long as I could kind of helped the situation. And as soon as I hit, the steering linkage broke anyway. So it wouldn't have
spun the
I don't
wheel.
know how NASCAR does it, but the steering column broke as soon as I hit.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I don't know what the steering column is on a cup car. If it's got links to it, or if it's just one straight bar down to the knuckle.
Yeah.
Ray Frank.
Well, Ray can weigh in.
Dunab, where are you? Yeah. Yeah. So you hit the car, obviously, and it's instant big hit. Your Hans you have on, you have good seat belts, everything's in date. I looked at the car afterwards. One heck of a well-built cage, and you guys have had this car for a long time.
Yep, this event was the 11th year to the event.
Let me
I
fix that. You can't hear me while I show the pictures. So let me fix that. You guys keep talking.
So the hit, you hit it. Does the car spin around? Do you just hit and
it spun like maybe like 45 degrees to the right, I think. I don't remember which direction, but I think it did kind of turn. Maybe it spun to the left because that would be the trajectory. But yep. I remember like the whole thing, like never blanked out, never did anything, but remember coming to a stop and kind of getting my wits for about 2 seconds, and then I came over the radio and said, "I'm okay." The team never heard me. I think the power to the radio got severed in the crash, so nobody heard me say, "I'm okay." And then the next thing is I kind of figured out what was going on, saw the smoke or steam coming from the hood, but I was like, it not too big that I'm gonna activate the fire suppression.
Right.
And then I hit the kill switch because I kind of forgot to do that first. And then just started unbuckling myself, unbuckling the cool suit, got halfway out the window and remembered my radio, and then got out of the car and remembered that the helmet blower hose was still attached because my head wasn't going much further. That was actually the first race that it actually stayed on for more than 5 minutes. So,
the helmet blower.
Yeah. Yep. So
what made you get out of the car? Because that's something that the race directors say. Hey, you only get out of the car if the car's on fire. Especially in the position that we're in. Or was that just your state of I just need to get out of here now? Because I've been there. So
I did think about it. The car was smoking or steaming. That was my first clue that, hey, maybe I need to start getting out of the car. But the real thing that told me it was okay is it had went red flag because Flagtronics showed red. And I was like, okay, the field is stopping. Let me get out and I'll be,
So,
I was just,
it won't be as bad. Yeah, with the cars racing around you.
Yeah, the Flagtronics showed red. So that was my first kind of thing to, hey, go ahead and get out of the car. So, but yeah.
Yeah, probably not recommended, but if it's red for, 30 seconds, probably everyone is stopped.
Well, it was...
they stopped pretty quick.
Yeah,
they stopped pretty damn quick.
My only concern on that is if I lay down a bunch of oil or coolant and cars are trying to stop because the red flag is out, they might be sliding right through it towards me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's the big thing. But, when you see that red flag come out on the Flagtronics, it's amazing how quick these guys come to a stop, too.
Which is great.
Yeah. And I think the EVs were there like 25 seconds after the red flag came out.
That's fantastic.
They rolled everybody fast.
Yeah.
I mean, there was no. It's the corner worker said this is big, and big hit. We couldn't see it from the they have that overhang party area from the tower to where you were at. We couldn't see it,
Right.
but we're getting descriptions from the turn one corner worker and the starter. And basically it's like roll everything. And they were in a great position to roll right there. So, and you don't say roll in the tower, by the way.
Yes.
Or the F word.
Yeah. Or the F word. That's right. So the John Whitnauer asked, did the Flagtronics display okay to you? And I have the answer to that one.
No, it did not. I saw yellow and then I saw red. And
so the reason it didn't was because of the way that the mount that you guys had used.
Yeah.
And basically it tilted back under the incident and really didn't display enough G-forces to do it.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I figured out or assumed is I think that'll be one thing that we do in the future is kind of mount it hard or on a stronger mount. But so, yeah.
So Bill, for people who don't know, explain what that okay mean. I know what it means, but explain to the folks at home why there would be an okay, how, and what information that if the Flagtronics was mounted with a more stout mount, what would have been relayed to race control to help in this situation.
Well, the Flagtronics operator gets notified with a impact report. On the screen, there's been an impact. How many G-force? It's a range of G-forces. There's a few of them. And that then highlights the number. You've seen the marching ants with car number in green. It then highlights it with a red cross plus, red plus in a white circle, so we can quickly see where that car is. And then at the same time, it's the unit inside Andrew's car would have a I forget what color it is, but it says RUOK.
I think it's a white background and red letters.
Yeah. And then you just press any button, and that will relay back to us that, hey, he's okay. So, but he didn't use the Velcro. You had it mounted to one of those ball. They're really nice camera mounts. But they're it has a large ball.
Yep.
And it mounts on there, but it allowed it. The G-forces allowed it to slowly just go back. And those.
As I say, I suspect with the ball mount, if you crank it down a ton, you might have kept it from spinning back on impact, but inertia, probably could take it even if it's really well cranked down.
Yeah, we use the same thing for our cameras, and the cameras didn't move.
Okay.
So I don't think
probably didn't have it cranked down that much.
Tightened down enough.
Yeah, and that weighs a hell of a lot less than most cameras too.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yep.
Probably not tight enough, but it's. I think some of the best ways to do it is to just you have 4 screw holes in it. Use 2 of them. So just mount it down to a dashboard or something metal.
Yeah, we actually had it mounted to the.
Yes, a RAM mount. That's what it was.
Yeah.
RAM. Thanks, Mark.
Yeah. We had it mounted on a plate that was screwed to the firewall where the glass is. And some drivers are shorter than the others and couldn't see it. So we put it on the ball mount.
So the hit was so big that it popped the window out. Did that watching the video, which is available online, did that concern you with that window just flying around out there? And
no, I think that was just basically the impact. Because I asked Matt, because on an E30, it has a lock strip, and some people don't put the full lock strip in; they just put like pieces. I asked Matt Saturday, I think it was, hey, did we use the full lock strip? And he said yes. So it would not have mattered unless we put some of the like metal tabs to further keep the windshield in. But no, it popped out due to the way the car took the impact.
Yeah, I mean, it distorted the roof.
Oh, yeah.
The A-pillars, and it was going to go. So,
yeah.
But yeah, that was a pretty crazy video. Now, afterwards, what do you? Well, the incident itself. You're probably playing this over and over in your head, and you think, could I have done anything different? You know, could you?
Based on if I was a professional and had way more laps in sim racing and everything else, maybe I would have reacted a little bit different. But with the amount of time that I've had, I'm 100% positive I did the right thing. And based on the majority of what other more seasoned racers have told me, is they would have done the same exact thing. So,
yeah. And each time you move that wheel, a different outcome could happen. You know, each time you do something a little different, something else could happen, and it could have been a lot worse. Now, your injuries, you stated you weren't bad, but you did get a broken leg.
Yep.
Some sore ribs, sore arm, shoulder.
Yep.
You lost your hair.
Yeah. The leg was from me having my foot on the brake pedal.
Okay.
And the trains tunnel actually contacted my right leg. That's how much the trans tunnel moved over. It was a good 3 to 4 inches is what it moved over. So
the passenger seat area buckled up from that hit and moved that trans tunnel over. And your pedals look, other than the fact they were skewed just a wee bit, your legs really had nowhere to go. A lot of force being applied to your leg at that point.
Yeah.
So did you feel that at all, or is that just?
No, I didn't. Like, when I got out of the car and stepped out of the car, I didn't really feel any. Like, I felt like I had the wind knocked out of me.
Right.
And when I first took a couple steps to the ambulance is when I was like, oh, there's something going on with my leg.
Yeah.
And then when I got to the ambulance, it was more of the shoulder was the big hurt.
Right.
So
I remember did you walk upstairs?
Yes.
Yeah. Just like, what the heck?
Yep. Yeah. I had to tell somebody important that I was going to the hospital. So
now when you go to the hospital as a racer, of course you never expect this. What was that like? I mean, you had one of your teammates drive you, Matt, I think, took you.
Yep.
And do you think maybe, if you have your teammates, they have all your important information, your belongings or whatever, is that something you would have needed, or wallets?
Yeah, I was able to grab all that stuff. So insurance card and all that, even though the hospital never asked for my insurance card.
Yeah. Huh.
Well, they would get it from you eventually.
Yeah.
They will, but they're not getting any money from me, actually. So.
Yeah. All right. So
real quick, what did you hit?
Oh.
So I hit a BMW E36 right in the left front wheel area.
Okay. So that was the main cause of all the damage, was hitting that car?
Yes. Yep. That was the sole cause of all the damage.
How is that car?
They've got to basically build another car.
Yeah. Okay.
As well. They might be able to replace the left frame rail if they wanted to, I think maybe, but I'm not a car builder, but I think they're going with another chassis at this point.
Yeah, just cut the roof off, put the cage back in that, and start all over again. Yeah. Looks like you're ready to ask a question, Brian.
No, I was just going to say, I was just listening to the story about you getting out of the car and taking a few steps. It's amazing what adrenaline does.
Oh, yeah.
To make you not think about what hurts, or to not let you realize what hurts at the immediate moment.
Oh, for sure. The big thing is I actually crawled out the window and used my right arm to basically put on the roof and then climbed out. Well, our door's open, so I never opened the door.
Did you not try, or did you not think about it?
I didn't think about it. I didn't think about taking the steering wheel off either.
It's crazy what happens, isn't it?
Yeah. So my arm did not hurt at that point. It didn't hurt until I got into the ambulance. So
yeah,
I used my right arm, even though there was something wrong with it.
Yeah.
So that's going to your adrenaline thing is.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The adrenaline was pumping so hard that I didn't even feel the arm.
Wow.
Now, Brian, I really haven't done that much alone racing where I'm at a track. It's just me. And, is that something that you guys over in the SCCA or NASA or whatever, what happens if you do get hurt and you're incapacitated? You have to go to the hospital. Who to contact? Who has all that information? I know we have it up in the tower.
Right. So in your entry form, you fill out a bunch of info with medical information. And if you race with the same organization over and over again, same region over and over again, they'll keep a medical card. And typically the ambulance would stop at whatever the medical tent is, the medical center. The ambulance would be given that information before they head out towards the hospital. So it's a piece of paper. It's in a folder. So, for the unfortunate eventuality that might happen, that's kind of the procedures.
Sort of the same with us. Now, do you think it's a good idea for your teammates to have that info?
Oh, sure.
Now, we have a lot of arrive and drives. That may be something that the arrive and drive team may want to have as emergency contact numbers and give you some of the important information as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So
yeah, I'd probably definitely implore teams to do that now.
Yeah.
You don't know it's going to happen. We hope you never need to do it, but when your wife is like, "Why isn't he home yet?"
Yeah,
it should have been home a while ago.
Well, I know, like, if you're a distance runner, an athlete, or a cyclist, they have this really cool thing called a road ID. It's a little, like, neoprene bracelet with all of your special information on it. I have one of those. Yep,
right here.
There it is right there.
Yeah.
That's something I would absolutely consider wearing when I was driving a car. It's got the phone number. It's got whoever you want them to call, even if they're going to yell at you when they get them.
The only problem with them is they're metal.
Yeah.
It's neoprene with the metal part on it. And that metal part in a fire, that'll get hot pretty quick.
That's the least of my worries, honestly.
And then the neoprene melting to your skin.
Yeah.
So we had a fire a bunch of years ago at Thompson, and that was one of the problems with the driver that caught on fire was his underwear strap melting to his, the top straps and the stretchy bits welding to his skin.
Yeah.
And that's something that I always thought about. It's like, oh, that would suck. So, but yeah, road ID, they do them. You put it,
and also, and I don't know if we still do it, usually you used to put on the back of your helmet some medical information too, like your blood type and your name and your phone number and that kind of stuff. I don't think do you guys require that anymore? Because I don't think we do.
What was that again? Sorry.
On the back of the helmet, there we put a sticker with, like, some information, like what your blood type is and all this.
That was something I remember they used to do a long time ago.
Yeah.
We started running lemons. I thought, well, I'll just have my blood type, sewn onto my race suit. And my teammates were like, why? Why would you do that? And I just remember other race car drivers having it. So, yeah.
How the pros do it.
Yeah.
I don't know if they do that anymore.
I've seen it with some. I don't know that it's. I think it may not be a thing anymore as much as it used to be. So
no, I think nowadays with medical advances, I think they can figure out your blood type pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's probably true too.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, but the technology, they're not having to pull a piece of paper out with.
Yeah, it's all online now.
Yeah.
Well, and as many people who share driver suits and everything, I'm going to guess the hospital doesn't trust that information, even if it's there.
Yeah.
They're going to double check, because the worst thing you can do, if you give people the wrong blood, it's usually
well,
not
the other
end
thing
of the
too
world,
is we got a lot of guys named Rusty Wallace or Kenny Schrader and using their old suits, so you never know what you have.
Right. So
you sure don't look like Rusty Wallace.
So now that you've had a little bit of time, and have you had a chance to actually look at the car in person besides the pictures?
I actually saw it So I went to the ER at like 9:45 on Saturday morning.
Right.
I was back at the track by 3:45, and one of the first stops was to take a look at the car.
Right.
I haven't seen it since then, but it looks nothing like it did that Saturday.
Right.
It's
such a pretty car too.
Yeah.
It's in quite a few pieces right now. So I think Bill has some or sent you some of them, but we've already started taking stuff off of it and cutting it up, and yeah,
they were taking parts off at the track.
Yeah, yeah.
They were selling parts
to get all the electronics out of it and all that kind of stuff.
They were selling parts to other BMW drivers so they could start working on the next car. So, you know, as drivers and people who build cars, we want to think about things like this and look at what happened and the stuff that we were wearing or the equipment that was in the car and say, okay, this worked, that worked. Maybe this could have been better. This could have been, maybe I should have done this a little bit. Not necessarily the driving part of it, but the building part. Any thoughts on the gear you were wearing that you were happy how it worked, or something you might wear differently next time? Let's start with that.
As far as gear, I don't think I would change any of the gear that I was wearing.
Okay.
I think the impact I took was 70 miles an hour, and I had one little abrasion where one of the edges of the belts caught me.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I had no bruising from the belts, no bruising in the collarbones. I use a next gen, so it doesn't go down past my shoulders really.
Okay.
So that was one note. I know some people have had instances of breaking collarbones with Hans devices, and I didn't have any of that. Suit, I wear a multi-layer suit, and that was fine. So yeah, gear-wise, no, I won't change anything.
How about the car?
So this is something that we talked about just before this race. We had a previous race where you guys at Tech found some roll cages that weren't fully welded. You know, there were some issues with them, and teams required to fix them. And of course, our fearless Tech leader Ray was, you know, up in arms over that because these were previously Tech cars elsewhere, and you know, it's one of those things that you want to go through yours, and yours did really well, and it shows the importance of having that cage completed with all the required bars. Maybe a couple more. I mean, did you guys have the foot
intrusion bars?
Yeah, look at that picture right there. Go back to that original picture you put up there, Brian. The intrusion bars keep that tire from pushing your foot area where your pedals are. Not that one. There you go, that one. You can see how far back that wheel was moved.
Yeah, our car did not have intrusion bars, and I think our next one will.
Yeah.
So based on what happened to that passenger side.
Yeah, that's huge. And yeah, I've seen them worse than that. And especially on the cars from the 80s, you'll get a lot of that. Mm-hmm. It'll wrap under and kind of push that footwell up. Problem is with that is that you're pushing the brake down. You got all your 170 pounds pushing, and you know, all of a sudden you got this tire pushing the other way, and that's how more things get broken.
Yeah. Yep.
And they can crush your feet too, in you know, between the pedals.
Yeah.
Remember those days, Brian, when before they had all that stuff in the cars? You know, you guys would hit a wall and basically compacted your whole footwell.
Yeah, I've back from my EMT days. I can tell you some stories that we probably shouldn't share on this show about some people who when they hit, they had one guy who I think had both his feet on the brake pedal because he was at that moment, and the brake pedal snapped, and you know, both of their ankles were dislocated when they got to the ER. So yeah, the way things bend and the way the body doesn't is sometimes and the other thing is sometimes the way the body does bend to get you through something is also pretty remarkable.
Right.
I've never tried thinking about, why did this person have this injury and then this person have something much worse. It's like the Dale Earnhardt crash. We've seen much worse than that, and guys pop out and walk away and crack open a natty light and chat about it in the pits, and then you have the wreck with Dale Earnhardt and not the best result. So but yeah, as an EMT, I would see things and I'm like, oh man, how did this guy kind of walk away, and this guy's got 2 dislocated ankles. So
did you have a full containment seat?
Yeah, we run a Bimarco FIA certified seat. So yeah, I think, and even before this race, I kind of told the team, I said, I'm not getting in another car that doesn't have a full containment halo seat.
Right.
So, and kind of proved that fact the next day.
Yeah.
It's amazing how much your body moves around, even when it's belted in, your head, your helmet, everything. So.
Yeah. How's your ribs? If you're in a full containment seat, how's your ribs?
No, it wasn't that kind of containment. No, it was the, with the
head. Halo seat.
Okay, yeah. So it wasn't around the rib cage. It was just up around the head.
Yeah, but my body moved enough. I think that's what caused the injuries to the shoulder and to the ribs. Is the movement to the right is kind of what did that.
Yeah. I'm curious if you would have had the rib protection if you would have had the similar injuries, or maybe even broken ribs. That might have been the result of that.
That's hard to do with multiple size drivers.
Right.
I mean, Michael Bowles is not exactly a short guy.
No, I'm the shortest guy on the team at 5'9". I think Merrill's just a little bit taller than me. Bowles is 6 foot, and then Matt is 6'3" or 6'4". So
it's hard to pick a seat that everybody can fit into.
Yeah.
Not just height-wise, width-wise, everybody's different. So
don't talk about width. I feel triggered.
I know, man. I know.
I'm trying.
I've always had the height all right when I get into some of these cars.
Yeah, I'm the perfect height for a race car driver.
Really, Troy, your butt is not this big.
Yeah.
Your butt is not that big.
Yeah, I am the right height. I am not always the right width.
Keep jumping on my shoulders. It'll pop in there.
Anyway.
Right. So post-race, what are you guys going to do different with the new car? Have you discussed that at all yet?
Yeah, well, I was actually on a Zoom meeting right before this one, and we were discussing what we were going to do. We're going to build another E30. Yep. And we're going to incorporate some things that will make it better for Matt, who's the tallest driver, without sacrificing any of our stuff. Going to go again with the strut tower bars. Huh?
Like a drop seat?
Yeah, we are going to try to drop the seat some, but it's more of where the the main hoop was.
Okay.
And then the top bar up top. I think dropping the seat's going to help more with him not being so close to that bar that runs along the side. Yeah.
Right.
Yep. And then intrusion bars. But yep. So.
Well, the nice thing about intrusion bars, they're not all that much weight.
Right. Right. But they, as proven, I think they would help out tremendously.
And it's when we kept losing the wheels on the MR2, that actually saved my chassis so many times because that wheel would just slam right into that foot area. So that's the way I looked at it. It's just made the car easier to repair. That's like sill bars. When somebody T-boned you and you're able just to pull off the plastic and everything was still there, not bent up and ready to race. Once you polished it up and gave it a new coat of yellow, that was nothing.
Yeah, that was actually a sill bar. That's one other thing we're going to add to the passenger side that was not there on this chassis. Matt looked at it and he was like, if we had a sill bar, it wouldn't have mattered too much on this one, but it would have helped a little bit.
Right. Yeah. And you can put tabs on there to attach it to the body. And again, it just strengthens that area to keep it from, whatever's trying to hit you from moving inwards towards you.
Yep.
And that's always a good thing. Keep it strong, and especially with multiple hits. I mean, that's something that we always talk about, that one hit you had. But how about the other times? Let's say we were at another track. How many other cars may have hit you? How many times would you have hit the wall? And every time you hit something, something else bends. So the stronger you can make it, the better.
Yep.
But I'm not an engineer. So don't take my advice. I just look at it from my point of view.
Yeah.
So from my experience.
All right.
Anything new with tech that we can piss off Ray with?
What do you mean?
I don't know. I was kind of gone for a week, so I don't know.
Nah, no, not really.
That's cool.
I know that we're going to start looking at
questions.
Yeah, I know that we're going to at VIR coming up end of the month, and at Sebring after the holidays, we're going to be inspecting a lot more roll cages, being more strict on them, I think. I think that was kind of what you guys had discussed. Also next year, just making certain everybody has the required bars, everything's welded properly, and good design. We saw one where the cage was welded and then they ground down the welds, I guess, to make it look pretty or something, and they ground into the metal. So, that's not a good thing. Just little things like that, builds, make sure they're good, because what happened to you? We don't want something like that happening to somebody else and then having the cage fail.
Yeah.
Right.
And one note is our cage was actually well before I got to the team. They actually had to cut 4 holes in the roof to 360-degree weld it at AMP in probably 2016 or 2017. Yeah. So
I did the same thing on my car, the yellow MR2. Drink up, buddies. I had to cut the hole in the roof at Summit Point. It was our second race with it. And Lemons, it was with Lemons, and they actually went around all my welds, and Johnny looked at it and said, "You need to weld that. You need to weld this. This is missing over here." And I'm like, "How do I get to them?" Not thinking outside the box. Drill a hole through the roof.
Yeah.
And that gives you access to it. It's like, you just, I don't know. So did that at the track, welded it all up, welded those little tabs. We may not have even welded them on. I may have put vinyl over the top of it, and it did the race. And then when we got home, I welded the little circles back on, because I used a hole saw to do it.
Yeah.
I accidentally nipped the cage with the pointy bit from the drill. Like, don't do that.
Yeah, it's good to put a piece of wood if you can. That was
on the first hole, yeah.
Between the.
But yeah, when I built the cage, I put it real tight up against the body.
Yeah.
And the other way to do it is to drill holes in the floor, and once you get the, everything where you want it, then you drop the cage down and then just weld it and put it back up, slide your plates underneath and weld the plates around.
I think it's better to put the holes in the roof. I wouldn't want to mess with the integrity of the floor. That's just my thought.
No, I mean, it's a lot of guys do it like that.
Yeah.
But you're putting the 4x4 plates back in to cover the holes.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least 4x4. They're pretty. Yeah, it is 12 square inches, or 16 square inches.
Yeah, 16 square inches.
My calculator.
Bill's not our math guy.
Nope.
But yeah, going what you said, I think we as ChampCar Tech have been pretty strict on cages, but I foresee us being a little more strict than we have been even then. So
yeah, and I know that at tracks like Daytona, Ozarks, the big high-speed tracks, that it's really going to be important that you guys have some good builds out there. We want you going home like, Andrew, sitting in your big luxury leather, easy chairs, and so
That's been my home for like a week.
yeah. You get wheeled around. Your daughter,
No.
she goes off to the Navy. She help you out a lot?
She's been driving me around for a week because somebody said I can't drive yet. So
Which leg did you break? The right one, right?
right one. Yeah. Yep.
That one's important for driving.
Yeah. The doctor said don't drive with the boot on, and so he didn't tell me I couldn't drive, but
it's just don't. Yeah, you got one of the air boots on or a cast?
No, it's an air boot.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, so, at least you can take it off. And can you take it off?
Yeah. I've had it off for like almost 3 hours.
Let it air out and scratch it and all that stuff. I had one where I couldn't do anything like that. It sucked.
Yeah. Doc said don't sleep in it either. So
really,
yeah, yep. So where it broke is they don't put you in a cast for because it's part of the fibula is a non-weight bearing bone anyways. Right. But where it broke up by the knee kind of heals by itself. Now, if it had broke down by the ankle, then it would have been surgery and
plates,
pins and stuff like that. But yeah.
Now, John Whitnauer just said, great excuse for not raking the leaves. Now, you're down in Georgia. Do you guys have the fall leaves and stuff down there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's been my one chore that I haven't been able to do since I've been home. I
just let them blow on my neighbor's yard because I live at kind of the top of the hill here. And we just let him blow over there. Let him take.
Well, you've been to our house. I can't climb inclines with this boot anyways.
Oh, yeah, because his driveway is like this, Brian.
Nice.
It's at least a 20-degree angle.
Yeah.
There you go.
Scary backing down, when you don't have a camera or anything like that. Old-fashioned way. All you see is like road, sky. All right. Anything else? Sorry, I'm still a little bit out of it.
Any other questions?
No, I think
any other questions? Any other?
No, I think we're good. You got anybody you want to thank? I mean, got you on the show. Sponsors, friends, family? The nurse at the hospital?
Sponsors, Flying Wrench, Matt Harper. It's been our pretty big one lately. I want to thank my wife, Jackie, for allowing me to do this and continuing to do it, even though she asked me.
You mean you don't say, woman, I'm going to go race? You don't say that?
No.
I think you should right now.
No, she asked me.
I don't think you should.
Yeah. She asked me when I came back to the track, are you done for a while? And I said, at least until a new car's built, maybe a little bit longer.
Well,
she didn't say wrong answer. So I take that to mean I can do it again.
Mine said I was done. Yeah. She said no more. But I came, my doctor, my MD said that, or he was a Porsche guy and did some HPDEs, and he wrote me a note that I was okay to go racing again. I don't know if she bought it, but I went racing again. Yeah.
Oh, good stuff. Good stuff.
Other than that, I want to thank Mike Merrill, Michael Bowles for letting me be a member of the team.
Nice.
So, and sorry I tore up their car.
There you go.
The start of a new chapter. That's it.
Yeah. New car will be better and faster.
Yep. And our goal is to make, the team's goal is to make Road Atlanta. I'm not positive I'll make it, but we'll see.
Cool.
You never know. You got 3 months. Speaking of Road Atlanta, we've got 25 entries so far. We opened up our new registration system today. And, of course, I was on the road. I went out west, and I was after the Atlanta race. And driving back today, and I'm just looking at all the emails, answering questions for folks. I know that Andrea was doing the same thing. It was really, really busy today. And I know that a lot of you guys still have questions and concerns about getting your team entered. It's a little different to enter races than our old system was. But ultimately, I think it'll be better. It'll be better for us on our side. I know that.
Yeah.
From the accounting side, but from your side, it's a little different than what you've been used to, and I think you just have to set that off to the side and just follow the instructions that Andrew. I know Andrew's done a bunch of Word documents and I'll be putting those together in a PDF so everybody can, I know some people don't have Word or whatever, but we'll get all that sorted out. Maybe do a couple of videos with Andrea, and maybe have her on the show next week to kind of go through some things that she's seen, some mistakes that she's seen you guys do, or maybe I don't know, the good things that you've done. So we'll put together something.
The key to Motorsports Reg is getting your profile set up right. And
yeah, this is
really
a little different with teams because you know, with a single person it's really easy, but when you do teams, I know that you have to enter. We had a couple of guys enter their team instead of entering themselves. They have to. The captain has to enter, and then the captain adds the team.
Got it.
I still have to. I didn't sit in on any of that training stuff, so I still have to get with Andrea to kind of figure out how that works. But yeah, so we're opening. You know, right now we only have Atlanta opened up. Once we kind of sort out our end of it, which is making sure our paperwork and everything is right, that teams have our training together, then we'll start opening up races after that. So one thing that no, I'll announce that stuff later. But yeah, it's should be pretty. It looks pretty easy to do. So we'll see. If you guys have any questions about it, please email me or email reg@champcar.org, and it goes to a whole bunch of people, and we'll be able to help you out.
Cool.
So,
awesome.
Yeah, I think that's it.
All right.
Yeah.
Was that everything?
Yeah, we'll talk about VIR next week.
Wow.
And Sebring coming up the end of December. We're talking to a couple of tracks about some big tracks about going back either 2026 or 2027.
Nice.
So that'll be good. Yeah, we're just making some contacts,
big tracks,
and doing some stuff, getting ready. So
great.
Yep.
All right.
Now I need a nap, man.
All right. Well, then let's get out of here.
I forgot to say something out there. I'd like to say hi to all the Opel GTs.
That's going to do it for another episode of Inside ChampCar. If you like what you heard, subscribe to the podcast so you won't miss any episodes. Also, be great if you'd share it on your social media channels. Comment on the ChampCar Facebook page, especially if it's a good one. New episodes every week. He's Bill Strong. I'm Brian Bielanski. This is the Racing Wire Podcast Network and ChampCar Live. Stay safe, go have fun, and go play with cars.